I'm making meat lovers chili today, and this is a very interesting recipe because it doesn't actually have any beans in it, but it is so great because if I want to turn it into chili, I add beans. If I want to use it for chili dogs, I just use it the way it is. If I want to use it for a dip, I add the ingredients that I need for the dip. So it makes it a little bit more versatile than just my chili with beans. In preparation, I've already diced up my tomatoes and my onions, and I've browned my ground beef. Now, my ground beef is very lean. It comes from my brother. He has Longhorn. They just have a very lean meat. So I don't have to drain out any fat. But if I had a more fatty hamburger, then I would need to do that. I'll add 2 cups of onions and 1 tablespoon of the garlic. And then I'll go ahead and simmer that for 5 minutes. Next, I'll add 3.5 pounds of tomatoes, half a cup of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of chipotle pepper powder. I'll then place this back on the stove and simmer it for 20 minutes. I then fill my pint-sized jars with the chili, and I'll go up to 1 inch of headspace, which is the space from the top of the food to the top of the jar. Can be a little harder to get with some of these thick ones, so I'll just get close initially. If I fill any too far, I just use a spoon to pull some out and put it in one of the ones that actually needs it. Then I use a chopstick to make sure that there's no air pockets and that everything is settled down nicely. This is when I'll really get an idea of if I need any more there. You could do this with something that was plastic or wooden, but they really recommend that you don't do anything with metal because that can scratch the jars. So I have a little bit of doctoring to do still. That one looks good. This one's still a little high. Whenever I can anything with meat in it, you know, something that's gonna have a fat content, I like to use vinegar to clean off my edges. Gets rid of any fat off the edge and makes sure that there can be a nice good seal. Then I put on my lids fingertip tight. This is actually kind of important because if it's too tight, then the air can't come out of the jars. But if it's too loose, then it's not gonna seal either. So it's kind of a fine line there. To prepare my canner, I add 3 jars of hot water. And now it's time to add my jars. I'll process this for 75 minutes as soon as the pressure gets up to the right level. Steam is coming out of my vent now, so I'll set the timer for 10 minutes and then afterwards I'll put the weight on top of the vent. With the pressure up past 11, I'll turn down the temperature and set the timer for 75 minutes. I need to make sure that if at any point during that 75 minutes, the pressure dropped below 11 for me, it would be 10 if you were at sea level, then I need to make sure that I restart the timer. Now that it's been 75 minutes, all I'll do is turn off the stove and then I'll let the pressure come down naturally. Now that the pressure is down to 0 and the pressure indicator is down, I'll remove the weight and then I can take off my lid. And then I'll let it cool for 10 more minutes. Then I take my jars out of the canner and I space them 1 to 2 inches apart so that they can cool down nicely. I'll then allow them to rest for 24 hours before I remove the rings and use hot soapy water to wash the jar and the lid. I pay special attention to the threads. I'll store these in a cool, dry location for anywhere from 1 to 3 years. I gave my leftovers to one of my sons, and this was how he was eating it. He got some of our leftover rolls from last night. So I love that you can taste the cumin. That's probably one of my favorite spices. And there's a tiny bit of a heat signature from the chipotle, but it's not overwhelming.